They killed his family. He picked up the blade and became the most feared assassin of his time. This is Assassin's Creed 2 explained. Desmond, still locked up, talks about his time inside Abstergo. The Templars versus the Assassins. The Templars want to control the world, and the Assassins want to stop that. Soon, Lucy storms in and tells Desmond he needs to get inside the Animus, and they witness the birth of a legend.
Ezio Auditore da Firenze!
When they finish the synchronization, they have to get out of Abstergo. After Lucy and Desmond defeat some guards and sneak past a couple of more, it's time to go. After the trunk ride, Desmond arrives to his new home, and Lucy starts her explanation. They want to turn Desmond into an assassin with the help of Ezio and the bleeding effect. The bleeding effect is technically giving Desmond his ancestor's skills. Here's where he meets Sean Hastings, who doesn't really like him. Maybe he didn't like Desmond turn his back on the Brotherhood, and Rebecca Crane, his fellow assassins. And just like that, Desmond have to hop in the Animus 2.0, there is no time to waste. The Templars are after them. The action kicks off with a street fight against Vieri de' Pazzi and his men, where Ezio gets his signature mouth scar. They beat up Pazzi's men, and then Ezio's brother Federico appears. Afterward, Federico takes Ezio to a doctor to get him patched up, followed by a quick climbing challenge. Ezio's story truly begins. Before Ezio heads home, he pays a visit to Cristina Vespucci for some alone time. This part will be important in the future. In the morning, Cristina's father discovers the couple and sends the guard after Ezio, but he successfully escapes. Ezio returns home, where his father, Giovanni, is waiting for him. Though Giovanni appears upset, he admits Ezio's boldness reminds him of his own youth. He needs Ezio to deliver a letter to Lorenzo de' Medici. At Lorenzo's residence, Ezio is told he's out of town. When he comes home, he hears a conversation from inside suggesting Giovanni has nothing to fear since Francesco de' Pazzi is already in prison. Ezio then goes inside where he finds his father and Uberto Alberti. Ezio reports to Giovanni, who is surprised to hear that Lorenzo isn't in town. Then his father asks Ezio to leave them alone. Ezio then helps his mother, Maria, with an errand. Along the way, they talk about the fight against Vieri, who might be struggling because his father could be executed, and Giovanni was the evidence against him. At their destination, they meet Leonardo da Vinci, a family friend who dreams of doing more than just painting. He wants to change the world. Later, Ezio helps his sister, Claudia, get revenge on her unfaithful boyfriend and assists his younger brother with collecting feathers, though the reason remains unclear. Giovanni gives Ezio packages to deliver. One to a thief and a courtesan, which puzzles Ezio, and another to a mercenary who hints that someone's moving tonight and Giovanni should too. After delivering the packages, he retrieves a letter from a pigeon coop. When Ezio returns home, he finds out that his father and brothers have been imprisoned. Ezio has to find out the reason. He climbs up to their cell, where Giovanni says he's expected trouble, but not like this. He tells Ezio to use his special skill to find a hidden door in his office. There is also a letter to deliver to Uberto Alberti. Ezio wants to mention the letter he retrieved, but they are interrupted. The letter doesn't show up in the database, even though Ezio reads it. However, according to the novel Renaissance, it contains a name, Francesco de' Pazzi. Back home, using Eagle Vision, Ezio finds the hidden door and the chest with a full assassin clothes, weapons, and the letter. After delivering the letter to Uberto, Ezio is reassured that it's a misunderstanding and that his family will be freed with the letter's help. The next day at the trial, tragedy happens. Uberto and a mysterious figure betray them, executing Giovanni and Ezio's brothers. Ezio narrowly escapes. Right before Desmond would do anything, Sean tells him that they found some strange markings across Renaissance Italy, so he should keep an eye out for them. Annette rushes to Ezio and says that she has to get him to safety. She's already taken care of his mother and sister. She gives him a location where he can meet them. Upon arriving, Ezio finds out that this is not a typical hideout. Anyway, he meets Annetta's sister Paola, who teaches him how to survive. First, he learns how to be one with the crowd, and then how to steal from that crowd. After that, she tells Ezio that he needs to repair his hidden blade, and Leonardo da Vinci can be his help with that. Leonardo repairs it with the help of a codex page. He also informs Ezio that if he come across more of that, bring it to him, and he will happily decrypt it. Their conversation is interrupted. The guard asks Leonardo if he knows where Ezio is. When he declines, the guard starts beating Da Vinci. Bad idea. After returning to Paola, she tells Ezio it's time to strike. Uberto will attend of Verrocchio's latest work at Santa Croce Cloister. When he arrives, Ezio overhears Uberto talking and sort of threatening Lorenzo de' Medici. When the conversation is over, Ezio sneaks in and unleashes his rage and sadness upon Uberto, stabbing him 5 times in the chest. After the successful assassination, Ezio returns to Paola and she teaches him some methods to reduce his notoriety, thus making his escape from Florence easier. Ezio, his mother and sister then heads to Villa Auditore in Monteriggioni, where Uncle Mario lives. On the way to the villa, Vieri de' Pazzi ambushes them. Luckily Mario and his mercenaries intervene, forcing Vieri to flee. Mario then escorts Ezio, Maria and Claudia to the villa, and along the way, Ezio explains everything that happened in Florence. Mario assumes Ezio has come here to train and continue Giovanni's work, though Ezio has no idea what that really means. His father never told him the truth. He was an assassin. Mario is surprised by this and wants to explain, but first sends Ezio to buy weapons. When Ezio returns, Mario insists on starting the training right away, even if they plan to leave soon. This way they will be safer on the road. During the training, Mario starts his explanation. Ezio's father, Giovanni, was an assassin who have long fought the Templars, an order that was disbanded in the 13th century. Except they just went underground. Their goal is to control the world. Uberto was one of them, as are the Pazzi family and everyone else on Giovanni's list. After training, Ezio still wants to leave, which angers Mario, who storms off. A mercenary explains Mario is upset over Vieri's constant trouble. When Ezio goes after his uncle inside the villa, he only finds another one of his mercenaries, who tells him that Mario has gone to San Gimignano to kill Vieri de' Pazzi, so Ezio decides he wants to join him. He finds his uncle right before the attack. They plan to breach the city through the southern gates, but those are sealed. Mario suggests Ezio climb up to open them while he and his men distract the guards. Inside the city, after a short fight, Ezio climbs a rooftop and overhears Vieri, Francesco, Jacopo de' Pazzi and the mysterious man planning something big. After they leave Vieri behind, Ezio assassinates him. However, he shows no respect to Vieri. Mario reminds Ezio that respect for the dead is one of the things that separates them from their enemies. After Ezio returns to the villa, he finds the mercenaries celebrating their victory over Vieri. Mario and Ezio discuss their next move, killing Francesco de' Pazzi. They also talk about the codex pages written by the master assassin Altair, which contain a prophecy and a hidden map to something powerful hidden underground. To translate them, they have to ask for Leonardo's help. Ezio then collects 4 more codex pages in Monteriggioni. Mario also introduces Ezio the armor of Altair. To unlock it, he needs to collect 6 seals. Now Ezio heads to Leonardo to decrypt the codex pages. He tells Ezio that they contain new assassination techniques that he can use. He also gives him a second hidden blade. Ezio then mentions that He heard about someone he needs to see, La Volpe. Leonardo knows him and tells Ezio that he might find him near the Mercato Vecchio. That's where he goes. While looking around, a thief steals Ezio's money. When he catches up, he finds La Volpe. Or more like, La Volpe finds Ezio. Ezio tells him he's looking for Francesco de Pazzi. The fox informs him about a secret meeting tonight and offers to show where it will be held. Ezio arrives at Santa Maria Novella, and underground there are catacombs. That's where the meeting will be. After going through the catacombs, he finds the meeting. When it's done, Ezio finds a seal and then leaves. Outside, La Volpe is waiting for him. They discuss their plan. It's not entirely clear, but they have a big arsenal and are planning an attack on the Medicis to take control of Florence. Ezio has to stop it. The next day, by the time Ezio could intervene, the Pazzis have already killed Lorenzo's brother, Giuliano. Ezio saves Lorenzo. Francesco, however, escapes. The assassin then escorts Lorenzo to his house. He learns that the Pazzis want to kill all the powerful people in Florence to replace them with their own. Ezio has to stop them by killing Francesco de Pazzi. He finds him at Palazzo della Signora. Ezio gets rid of the guards and moves to kill Francesco, but he jumps down from the palazzo. A short chase begins, but the Templar couldn't get away and he meets his fate. His body is then hung from the palazzo in front of Jacopo de Pazzi, who immediately runs away. After the successful assassination, Ezio talks to Lorenzo about the whereabouts of Jacopo. Lorenzo informs Ezio that Jacopo didn't act alone. Antonio Maffei, Archbishop Francesco Sabiati, Stefano de Bagnon, and Bernardo Baroncelli were all part of it. All of them escaped. Lorenzo then hands Ezio a codex page. Before he heads to Mario for information, he needs Leonardo to translate it. This codex page contains the design for a poison hidden blade. Now it's time to talk to Mario. He couldn't track Jacopo, but with the help of the list containing the names of his fellow conspirators, they can track down Jacopo through them. When Ezio hands Mario another codex page, he tells him what's in it and explains the need for 2 pieces of Eden. After that, Mario teaches his nephew some new techniques. When they are done, one of Mario's mercenaries informs them that they found the targets. Ezio's first target is Antonio Maffei, who is hiding on top of a tower in San Gimignano. After the successful assassination, Ezio leaves 2 letters, one for Maffei from Jacopo and one for Rodrigo Borgia from Maffei. Next up is Salviati. One of Mario's mercenaries tells Ezio that he is hiding in his villa. With the help of the mercenaries, Ezio assassinates him and Salviati reveals when the next meeting will be. Now it's time for Baroncelli. The informer tells Ezio he's inside the walls of San Gimignano, but they don't know where. Ezio, however, has his ways. He finds the scared Baroncelli and ends him. In his last moments, Baroncelli tells Ezio that they were supposed to meet Jacopo at the church. Stefano de Bagnon is his next target. Ezio learns that he has taken refuge in an abbey. He patiently waits until he can assassinate him. Stefano tells Ezio that the next Templar meeting will be in the shadows of the Roman gods. Now Jacopo. Ezio finds him at the church and follows him to the ancient Roman theater where Rodrigo Borgia and Emilio Barbarigo wait for Jacopo. After a short conversation, they wound him fatally. They then order the guards to catch Ezio. The conspirators flee while Ezio fights the guards. After that, he mercy kills Jacopo and now has a new name, Emilio Barbarigo. Ezio returns to Florence to inform Lorenzo de Medici of his success. His journey then takes him to Venice for more Templar hunting. Before he leaves, Lorenzo gives him the Medici cape, which grants him some immunity from the law in Florence. Ezio also wants to visit Leonardo before departing, but a stranger tells him that Da Vinci has already gone to Venice for a job opportunity. On the way, Ezio does run into Leonardo, who's gotten into a bit of trouble. His cart's wheel is broken. Ezio helps him fix it and they head toward Venice together. Their ride is interrupted though, when Borgia's men try to kill Ezio. He manages to hold them off for a while, but eventually has to jump off the cart to let Leonardo escape. After dealing with the guards, he reunites with Leonardo at the docks of Forlì. However, Ezio can't board the ship because he doesn't have a pass. At the same time, a woman needs help. Ezio escorts her, and in exchange, she helps him get a pass. Leonardo tells Ezio that she was Caterina Sforza, the wife of the Lord of Forli. Now Desmond has to exit the Animus to prevent any side effects. Lucy also wants to test how much of Ezio's skills he has acquired. Desmond uses his new abilities to activate the warehouse's defense system. While doing so, he starts seeing visions from his ancestors' lives. Here he gets an answer as to why he is reliving Ezio's memories instead of Altair's. Subject 16's last session was in Renaissance Italy. He must have known something about the vault they are looking for. Before Desmond, Abstergo used Subject 16 to find the pieces of Eden. But as Lucy said, they pushed him too far, which resulted him going insane before ending his own life. He also painted the areas where Desmond was in Abstergo with his blood. He drew different symbols and tried to send a message. The symbols spread across Renaissance Italy also contains another message from him. When Desmond goes to get some well-deserved rest, he experiences a longer flashback. This time Altair is chasing an unknown Templar woman in Acre. When he catches up, Desmond learns it's Maria, and their relationship isn't unfriendly. Maria then gets pregnant with Altair's child. After Desmond wakes up, there is no time to waste. Let's hop back into the Animus. When Ezio and Da Vinci arrive in Venice, a man named Alvis escorts them to Da Vinci's new workshop. On the way, he shows them some of the city's attractions. At the market though, they see Emilio Barbarigo's men harassing a merchant. But they keep moving, until a wooden door catches Leonardo's attention. While they're talking about it, a thief bumps into Ezio and runs off. Their next stop is the Palazzo della Seta, home of Emilio Barbarigo. It's locked down now because Emilio wants to unite all the merchants under his control. After the tour is over, Ezio heads back to the Palazzo. While checking out possible entrances, there is a jump that seems out of reach for him. Just then, the same thief reappears and performs the jump Ezio thought was impossible. She doesn't get far though. She takes an arrow to the thigh. Her name is Rose and Ezio needs to help her escape. He takes Rose to Ugo and they continue their journey by boat. Ezio has to defend the boat from guards along the way. Once they reach their destination, Rose needs help from Antonio, who removes the arrow and treats her wound. Apparently, everyone already knows about Ezio. Now that's a reputation. Ezio heads to Antonio's office to discuss something important. Inside, he offers Ezio some coffee. Ezio makes some suggestions.
I don't know, have you considered adding sugar maybe? Or latte?
But Antonio's not interested. He tells Ezio their latest attack on the Palazzo was a failure and they need to come up with a new plan. But they will need Ezio's help to get ready. The first person Ezio is going to help is Ugo. He tells Ezio they successfully escaped from the Palazzo, but others weren't so lucky. He has to save them and that's what he does. After returning with the last of the thieves, Ugo says he has another job for Ezio. Meet him at the docks. There, Ugo tells Ezio that Antonio's plan is to replace the guards and archers with their own men. But to do that, Ezio needs to steal the armor they use. Now Antonio needs Ezio's help again. He says there are traitorous thieves in the guild giving information to Emilio Barbarigo. The assassin must find and eliminate them. And again, he delivers. Now Ezio needs help. Not that kind. He wants to learn how to perform a climbing leap, so Rose calls another thief who teaches him that. Time for a little test. Ezio has to meet Rosa in front of the Frari. He has to climb to the top within a time limit, which isn't a challenge for him. Everything is ready for the strike. Antonio explains his plan to Ezio, who follows it accordingly. Ezio takes out the archers and Antonio's men replace them. Then he regroups with the others. They explain the rest of the plan. Ezio can use thieves to distract the remaining guards, so he can safely reach the palace. Inside, he finds Emilio Barbarigo and a man named Carlo. They talk about a meeting in 3 days. Once their conversation ends, so does Emilio's life. Following the successful assassination, Ezio speaks with Antonio in case he knows anything about the other man. Antonio tells him that the man is Carlo Grimaldi, a member of the Council of Ten. Ezio finds Carlo Grimaldi and Silvio Barbarigo. He tells them, and soon Marco Barbarigo and his bodyguard Dante join them. Ezio overhears that they are afraid of him and they need to act immediately. Shortly after, the Spaniard appears. He has a new plan. There is no time to convince the Doge to join them. Instead, they will poison him. The plan is for Silvio to get the poison, Carlo to put in the Doge's meal, and Marco to take his place. After the meeting is over, Ezio heads to Antonio to come up with a plan before that happens. Antonio tells Ezio that this will be more difficult because Palazzo Ducale is the most heavily guarded building in Venice. They go to scout for possible entry points. The front door is out. This side is out as well. Even though they can climb up here, there is no way inside. Unless they knew someone who has a special device. So Ezio goes to Leonardo, but first, the device needs testing. And who could be more capable of that than Ezio? He tests it, but it doesn't take him very far. Leonardo starts thinking of a way to extend the flight, but he couldn't come up with anything. Until he throws a piece of paper into the fire, and it strikes him. Hot air can lift the flying machine up. In order for Ezio to reach the palazzo, they would have to install a lot of bonfires around the city. Antonio's men can do that, but first Ezio has to deal with the guards. And that's exactly what happens. After everything is ready, Ezio climbs up to the top of the tower to the flying machine, where Da Vinci gives him instructions on how to use the hot air to his advantage and how to defend himself by kicking archers off the buildings. Ezio starts flying and makes it to his destination. When he gets inside, he rushes to kill Carlo before he poisons the Doge. Unfortunately, it's already too late. The Doge is dead. Ezio then kills Carlo and makes his escape. He fails this time. After the Doge died, people said Ezio had killed him, and as a result, he became the most wanted man in Venice. Ezio visits Leonardo with this news, who informs him that it's carnival time, so he can use a mask to disguise himself. Ezio also brings something for Leonardo to work on, a new codex page. After successfully translating it, Leonardo discovers that it describes a modified firearm. He builds it and Ezio tests the weapon. They also discuss the new, terrible Doge they appointed, Marco Barbarigo. Da Vinci gives Ezio a mask and tells him to consult Antonio, who can be found at Sister Theodora's place. That's where Ezio heads next. When he arrives, he finds Antonio enjoying his company. Ezio also meets with Sister Theodora. Their conversation is interrupted though, when a killer murders one of the girls. Theodora sends Ezio after the attacker. After a short pursuit, Ezio finds him threatening to kill another girl, but using his brand new pistol modification, Ezio stops him. When he returns, the assassin finds the girls grieving their sister. He consults Antonio and Theodora about how to eliminate Marco Barbarigo. He is in luck, because although Marco rarely leaves his palace, tonight is an exception. He is throwing the biggest party of the carnival, but to get in, Ezio needs a golden mask. He can't have someone make one for him, because the masks are numbered, but he can still win one. Antonio and Theodora escorts Ezio to the place where the games will be held. When they arrive, on the stage they see Silvio Barbarigo and Dante. Ezio needs to win all 4 games in order to win the mask. In the first game, Ezio has to steal ribbons from some girls. This is no challenge for him. The next game is a capture the flag match. With his skills, Ezio completes this easily. The third game is a race. Ezio's remarkable speed helps him win again. The last game is a bare fist fighting contest. It starts fairly, and Ezio knocks out the first opponents, including Dante. Then Silvio bribes the announcer, who lets armed guard inside. Ezio deals with them pretty easily. However, when it's time to tell the results, the corrupt announcer declares Dante as the winner. After returning to the brothel, Ezio, Antonio and Theodora come up with a new plan. Ezio steals the mask from Dante while the girls distract him. Afterward, he enters the party where he sees Marco Barbarigo on a ship. Getting that close seems impossible. Luckily, Ezio has an ace up his sleeve and shoots Marco. When he returns to the brothel, Ezio enjoys some well-deserved rest. When Ezio collects all the seals, he gains access to the armor of Altair. Antonio sends a messenger saying he wants to speak with Ezio. The assassin finds him at Palazzo della Seta, where he is speaking with Agostino Barbarigo, Marco's brother, who is set to become the new Doge. Unlike Marco, Agostino doesn't plan on making the same mistakes. Antonio also informs Ezio that they've located Silvio Barbarigo. He has occupied L'Arsenale with at least 200 men. Against an army of that size, Ezio will need one of his own. Antonio says that Bartolomeo d'Aviano is the man who can help. He resides in the military district. When Ezio goes to find him, he discovers only one of Bartolomeo's men, fatally wounded. The mercenary tells him that Bartolomeo was taken deeper into the district. As Ezio searches, he hears shouting and soon finds him. After killing the guards, he frees Bartolomeo and helps him back to his hideout, where he immediately begins searching for Bianca, his weapon. Once reunited with his beloved blade, Bartolomeo agrees to help. While he gathers his forces, Ezio must rescue the mercenaries who were captured in the ambush. Ezio flees them and he returns to Bartolomeo, who has devised a plan. A direct assault would likely fail, so Ezio spreads Bartolomeo's men throughout the district. They cause enough chaos to force Silvio to dispatch guards from L'Arsenale, thereby weakening its defenses. When everything is in place, Ezio signals at the start of the attack. From the top of the tower, he spots Bartolomeo struggling against Dante. As Ezio approaches, Dante flees. A short chase follows. When Ezio catches up, he engages Dante in combat, but Dante escapes again, this time with Silvio. They are heading for a ship. While Bartolomeo and his men hold off the guards, Ezio pursues the two. With his double hidden blades, he assassinates them both at once. In their final moments, Silvio and Dante reveal that their plan was never to replace the Doge. It was only a distraction. They were preparing to sail to Cyprus. Now, Ezio must find out why. When Ezio collects some feathers, his uncle says he shouldn't bother because that won't help her mother. But if Ezio collects enough of them, her mother hugs him and thanks him for not giving up on her. While Ezio is sitting alone, Rose joins him. He tells her that today is his birthday, but it isn't a happy day. It's been 10 years since he began hunting those responsible for the deaths of his father and brothers, but he still hasn't gotten any closer to understanding why it happened. Rose gives Ezio a birthday gift. A shipping manifesto from the day the Templars sailed out to Cyprus, which is scheduled to return tomorrow. After a brief moment of closeness, they are interrupted by Da Vinci. Leonardo tells Ezio that the last 2 codex pages contains a strange writing. The prophet will appear when the second piece is brought to the floating city. Together they realize that this is the reason the Templars had set sail, to find the other piece of Eden and bring it back to Venice. The Spaniards' plan all along was to open the vault. When Ezio arrives at the docks, he discovers that they have indeed brought the Apple of Eden to the floating city. He also spots his uncle, Mario, peeking from around the corner. Suddenly, a guard takes the apple and runs off. Ezio starts chasing him. When he reaches a heavily guarded location, Ezio hears that the Spaniard is in Venice as well. He quickly comes up with a plan. He takes out the courier, steals his armor, and lets the others unknowingly lead him straight to Rodrigo Borgia. When they arrive at the meeting place, Rodrigo is already there. Ezio takes out the guards. After that, the Spaniard says that he is the prophet. A fight breaks out. Just as Ezio is about to win, Rodrigo calls for guards. Ezio defeats them, but more reinforcements arrive. However, he is not alone. Mario, La Volpe, Antonio, and Bartolomeo all show up to help Ezio and protect the apple. As Ezio is about to kill Rodrigo, he knocks him down and escapes. Shortly afterward, Paula and Theodora arrive. Ezio is confused. Then another man steps forward. Machiavelli, who tells Ezio that they are all assassins. Mario begins to explain that Ezio is the prophet and that they have all been guiding him over the past few years so that one day he could join their ranks. That day is today. After their conversation, they gather at the top of a tower where Ezio is officially initiated as an assassin. There is much work to be done. After Desmond finishes this sequence, he exits the Animus, but he needs to go back immediately. Leonardo, accompanied by Machiavelli, Mario and Ezio, begins investigating the Piece of Eden. When Ezio touches it, an overwhelming amount of knowledge floods into their minds. Only Leonardo remains entirely calm. This device must not fall into the wrong hands. It could easily break weaker minds. Ezio must protect it with all his skills. Mario suggests taking it to Caterina Sforza in Forli, a city fortified with cannons and high walls. He also invites Leonardo to the villa if he has the time. Ezio then heads to Forli, where Caterina and Machiavelli are waiting for him. They begin heading to the citadel. Along the way, Caterina mentions that she had her husband killed. Machiavelli tells Ezio that the man had been working with the Templars to reveal the locations of the remaining codex pages. As they talk, a large crowd comes running toward them in panic. Caterina stops a woman who tells her that the city is under attack by the Orsi brothers. Caterina had hired them to kill her husband, but now they are working for the Spaniard. They are after the map. Ezio, Caterina and Machiavelli rush to the gates, cutting down every enemy in their path. When they arrive, they realize they have been locked out. Caterina tells Ezio about a tunnel under the western wall. He heads there, but along the way he encounters some allies in need and doesn't hesitate to help. Afterward, Ezio finds the tunnel entrance, sneaks inside and makes his way to the gatehouse. He quickly takes out the two guards and opens the gates, allowing the others to enter. Now Ezio must help Caterina and Machiavelli reach safety. When Caterina reunites with her children, she finds out that two of them are missing. Just then, a guard shouts an alarm. The city is under siege. Ezio rushes to defend it. Moments later, the Orsi brothers appear at the gates, threatening to kill Caterina's children unless she gives them the map and the apple. After they leave, Caterina asks Ezio to rescue her children. Ezio sets off, leaving the apple behind to save them. The first child he finds is Bianca. Ezio eliminates the guards and frees her. She tells him that her brother Ottaviano is being held at the lighthouse. Ezio makes his way there, kills the guards along the way, and at the top of the lighthouse assassinates Ludovico Orsi. Afterward, he frees Ottaviano. Ezio returns to the citadel, only to discover it was all a trick. With the defenses down, Keko Orsi has stolen both the apple and the map. Ezio goes after him. Keko tries to flee, but the assassin is faster and kills him. However, during their final exchange, Keko stabs Ezio with a dagger. As Ezio loses consciousness, he sees a mysterious man retrieve the apple from the ground. He notices that the man has only 4 fingers. When Ezio wakes up, Caterina is by his side. He tells her about the man who took the apple, some sort of monk. Caterina mentions there is an abbey not far from the city. Before he leaves, she gives him the map. Ezio heads to the abbey. When he arrives, he finds a monk being harassed by guards. Ezio eliminates them and asks the monk about the 4-fingered man. He does remember someone fitting that description and gives Ezio the last known location. At another abbey within the city, Ezio tries to question a group of monks. But as soon as they see him, they flee, knowing he was the one who assassinated Stefano da Bagnon. Ezio catches one of them and explains the situation. The monk reveals that the man he's looking for is someone named Savonarola, and provides Ezio with his location. 1497. Ezio arrives in the Oltrarno district of Florence to meet Machiavelli. They speak about Savonarola, who, using the power of the apple, has taken control of the city. More precisely, he controls its leaders. People rarely question those in power, so Ezio and his allies must help them see the truth. As they walk through the district, Ezio sees the bodies of dead soldiers bearing the emblem of Rodrigo Borgia. Machiavelli explains that Rodrigo knows the apple is in Florence, so he keeps sending troops, but Florence sends them back in pieces. Ezio must escort Machiavelli to the Palazzo Pitti. Along the way, they encounter enemies, but Ezio deals with them. Once they arrive, they agree that direct attack would be pointless. Instead, Ezio will eliminate the city's corrupt leaders, while Machiavelli, Paola and La Volpe will use the dissatisfaction of the people to turn them against Savonarola. It's time to work. Ezio's first target is in the garden of the Palazzo Pitti, burning books and paintings. Ezio jumps down, runs past the guards and assassinates him. In his final moments, the man expresses regret, admitting that he hadn't been himself. Ezio escapes and moves on. The next target is a preacher giving a corrupt sermon. Ezio jumps down and assassinates him mid-sermon. The preacher claims he didn't need to be deceived, he already believed, which might be even worse. Next on the list is a condottiero who has shut down Ponte Vecchio until the people submit to Savonarola. Ezio uses the rooftops to approach, eliminating guards along the way. After the assassination, Ezio notices the man is dressed like a noble. The man confesses that he wanted more than wealth or power, but now he has nothing. Ezio's next target is a merchant at the docks, holding back food while the people starve. Ezio sneaks aboard the ship and kills him. The merchant tells Ezio that people sometimes need to be told what to think. Ezio disagrees. The following man withholds hay from the citizens. He says that without hay, horses go hungry. Without horses, goods can be transported, crashing the economy. Ezio hides in a haystack and at the right moment strikes. The man wanted respect from those who looked down on him. He doesn't earn Ezio's. As Ezio walks through the city, he sees a nobleman shouting from the rooftops, threatening to alert Savonarola about Ezio's actions. Ezio chases and assassinates him. The nobleman says he wasn't himself. Ezio replies that it only happened because he allowed the apple to control him. Atop the Duomo, Ezio finds a priest who was deceived by the apple. Ezio climbs the cathedral, unnoticed, and assassinates him. The priest dies realizing he was fooled. He just wanted so badly to believe. The next target is a doctor who withholds treatment until the people accept Savonarola as their leader. Ezio hides in a cart of leaves and strikes at the perfect moment. The doctor had become drunk with power over the week. For his final target, Ezio enters a courtyard and walks into a trap set by the captain of the guards. But Ezio doesn't hesitate. He ignores the soldiers and heads straight for the kill. The captain dies with sadness in his heart, wishing he had been stronger. While Ezio handles the leaders, Machiavelli, La Volpe and Paola rally the oppressed. Together they lead a riot against the tyrant. The angry mob storms the Palazzo Pitti. Savonarola appears, trying to use the apple to control the crowd. But Ezio stops him. He throws the knife, striking Savonarola's hand and forcing him to drop the piece of Eden. As Savonarola is seized by the crowd, Ezio searches for the apple. The guard grabs it and flees, but Ezio catches him and recovers the piece of Eden. The people, furious and betrayed, sentence Savonarola to death by fire. Before the flames take him, Ezio shows mercy, ending the tyrant's life quickly. He then delivers a powerful and wise speech to the crowd that they only have to follow their own path.
Do not follow me or anyone else.
When Desmond solves all the glyphs, he gains access to the message left by Subject 16. In that, they can see Adam and Eve escaping from the Eden with the apple. Ezio returns to the villa with the remaining codex pages, where Leonardo translates them. Afterward, Ezio uses his eagle vision to arrange the pages on the wall, which reveals a map. They discover that the vault is in Rome, and this is one of the reasons the Spaniard became Pope. The other reason is that he gained access to the papal staff, the second piece of Eden. Ezio and the remaining assassins head to Rome. While Ezio searches for Rodrigo Borgia, the others create distractions throughout the city to divide the guards' attention. Ezio infiltrates the Vatican, climbing inside, killing every guard along the way. When he reaches the Sistine Chapel, he sees the Spaniard preaching. Ezio climbs over him and assassinates him, or he thinks. Rodrigo defends himself with the papal staff. Armed with the apple, Ezio shows the Spaniard some trick of his own. The two, actually 6, begin fighting. The battle seems to end with Ezio's victory, but the Spaniard once again defends himself using his piece of Eden. He turns invisible and takes the apple from Ezio, then assembles it with the staff. Using the combined power of the two pieces of Eden, Rodrigo lifts Ezio off the ground, stabs him, and leaves him to die. When Ezio regains consciousness, he uses Eagle Vision to find the secret passage and follows the corrupt Pope. When Ezio catches up with him, Rodrigo is furious that he cannot open the vault. They fight barehanded. Rodrigo claims he believes God waits for him behind the door and intends to claim that power. Ezio defeats him but spares his life. It won't bring back his loved ones. After touching the stuff, a door opens and Ezio steps inside. What he sees is unlike anything he has ever witnessed. Something indescribable. Suddenly, a figure appears and asks Ezio to show her the apple. She then looks toward Desmond. When Ezio asks her name, she tells him that when she died, her name was Minerva. She also mentions Juno and Jupiter. Ezio thinks they are gods, but Minerva giggles. Not gods, she says. They were simply the ones who came before. Humans never understood them because they were more advanced in time. Maybe humans never will. But she has a message. Ezio doesn't understand, but when he expresses his confusion, Minerva silences him, saying he has played his part as the prophet. She speaks of the ones who came before and the betrayals by the creatures they created, humans. A war started between the two species, but it distracted them from the heavens. The sun burned the entire earth. But some of the two species survived, and they started rebuilding. They wanted to make sure this tragedy wouldn't happen again. But they were dying, and time worked against them. Their work was misunderstood. Still, Minerva offers hope. Desmond and the others must find the other temples built as shelters from war and fire. These temples were designed to protect the ones who came before. If their world can be saved, so can this world. They must be quick and stand their ground against the Templars. Minerva delivers her message, but the rest is up to Desmond. Ezio tries to ask more questions, but she disappears. Desmond must exit the Animus immediately. The Templars have found them. Sean and Rebecca prepare to leave, while Lucy and Desmond hold off their enemies. The plan is to escape to another safe house. As they descend to the ground floor, Vidic appears with guards. They want to take Desmond back with them. A fight breaks out, but the assassins win. Vidic, however, escapes. On their way out, Desmond and the others discuss what's next. There is a cabin up north, a long journey, but Desmond can use the animals during the trip. First, he asks about what happened in the vault. They talk about a powerful flare that could make the Earth geologically unstable, and that's what Minerva tried to warn them about. Maybe they will find more answers inside the Animus.